So, hey guys, Chauzu here. So I was contemplating, I made a video with talking about the Super Sucofest legend Emo yesterday, and today I was like, will I do one for the other four? Because they are so much less interesting. I'm still pretty disappointed by it. I hate when Bunny decides let's make all of our big celebration legends the same with no big unique gimmicks, and it's like it ends up being pretty bland, and I still trying to make them work together with emus can run everything together, and that team seems to be pretty busted too, but that means that each individual unit doesn't do that much in the end, but the things they do are very good basically. But Anni Buggy, which is the one I'm most excited about because I'm just a big fan of Buggy in general, like his design, his character, the failing to the top is not even a cliche, but I really love everything about Buggy basically, and I love the concept of cross skill. We got the cross skilled Mihawk and Crocodile, who honestly pretty disappointing, but as we'll look at later, if you run them with Buggy and some other great slasher legends, you can make a pretty busted high damage team for the super boss. We're going to talk about that. But yeah, first let's look at Buggy, and like every legend has the crew artwork and the alternating artwork, and I'm not sure what I think about this, which I like the most. I kind of like them both, and I kind of feel like both of them are pretty bland. So it's I have pretty mixed feelings, to say the least. So we'll see. I guess this one is the easy one to pull, and I don't really use the materials for changing artwork in case they ever have some real use. Like for now it's just fluff, which artwork they have. I haven't seen this sprite though, that looks so good. We'll probably add this to the video as well. And yeah, it's nice that they post the tags nowadays, because the tags are pretty important, and this one, you get the ones you want, basically. Like the Egghead one is huge, Paramythia is huge, you get the 4 Emperors. I don't think they could have added anything else to this, so we'll take that. Maybe Roger Pirates, but I guess, yeah, that's a pretty far-fetched, since this is not Kid Buggy. Anyway, Buggy is an int slasher driven, and honestly, so close to success in terms of type. Like I figured, like it was hard to decide class for Buggy. Like Slash was on the table, Driven was on the table, Cerebral was on the table. I would have much preferred Slasher Cerebral, especially since this Buggy is not even a Driven booster. Like having the Cerebral added on will open up a lot of the Cerebral units we got from Egghead, while Driven basically adds nothing to his unit, so it's a bit of a shame. Like I guess basically every Buggy is Driven, but like I'd say it's factual that Driven just makes him worse than Cerebral. I think Driven is good, but just in the context of Egghead units, like what he can does. Like if it was a Cerebral, you could have used him pretty well with Luffy, Bonnie, and Kuma as well, which you really can't now. So yeah, stuff like that. Also has Super Tandem Boost, which is like probably ages better than the other potential abilities that are limited, but it's also the least hype one. I think that summarizes it pretty well. Anyway, let's look at Buggy's Captain ability. In Slasher gets -2 CD, VS, and Switch, which is pretty nice. Not much to say there. I do love that most recent captains gets that switch reduction, like as someone who makes a lot of Giwi teams, it does help a lot in enabling more strategies to use. As for Giwi, like this buggy can also be used for the slasher grand voyages, so I think you can make some good use of him there for sure. 6 times booster to INT and slasher. All of the Anni units, except for Emu, can only boost one color, one class, so it feels very limiting to say the least. Like, not boosting driven here is just sad. Like, as I said, it just makes the tacked on driven on buggy basically useless, I'd say. If you have 4 or more slashers on the crew, it reduces the damage reduction effect on the enemy by 100%. And I am a fan of these abilities in general, either on captain. I honestly like them even more when they are on a crewmate. But we're going to talk about that more. That's honestly one of the best parts of this unit. And there's 2 other really good legends in the game that pairs really well with that effect that we'll talk about later. If you have territory in type and you have 6 or more slashers, your slasher character gets 7 times attack instead. So yeah, that's like the power creep attack boost basically for this anniversary, going up to standardizing 7 times attack a bit more. Like, as far as I know, these are the first time 7 times is like achievable by pretty easy means, or easy like 6 slashers. Territory int, like Buggy can set that himself, but yeah. I'd say that if you ever use Buggy, like with units we have now, you're opting for slashers naturally anyway, considering the units he pairs well with. So that's probably going to be fine. And if he's a captain, you also get an extra 1.2 times attack for cross skill for Emperor's Egghead. And the Egghead, as said, like right now is really good, but at the same time, soon we're not going to get Egghead character tags that regularly. So it means it's good now, but a year from now, that's probably not going to be that great. But yeah, still it's 7 times attack, and then you can tack on an extra 1.2 times attack. On top of everything else, it's going to be good damage. Also has the seed reduction that all of the Anni units has, but this is easily the worst one. It's just cross skill and 4 Emperors, and cross skill is an incredibly niche tag with the units we have. You can basically count them on one hand. The cross skill units for Emperors are better, but if we're thinking about units you build with this buggy, it's basically just different chances. So it's hard to build a team that gets a lot of seed reduction with Buggy as captain. Crewmate, some matching orbs and extra base stats. And also base attack for slashers. You're probably not going to run this Buggy as a sub a lot, but that's pretty decent. But yeah, let's look at the special. You reduce the spear by 10 turns. I think we'll take a pause there because this is basically the utility you get. You can get some from the EX as well. You can change block int tandem to super int. And you can get some damage reduction, but it's basically minor orb manip, some damage reduction. You can remove the spear. And the captain 1 time lets you set % damage reduction to 0. That's very little. Like we talked about Emo yesterday, who is like not the god of utility, but a very impressive utility legend, which is not that super common nowadays. Meanwhile, Buggy is a pretty much bread and butter, like, look at this new shiny super boss legend that will do a ton of damage against the super boss at least 1 time. It's not that exciting in that way. Buggy also has the gimmick that the other new 12th Anni Super Suga has, that if you have 2 territories, 1 type territory, int in this case, and 1 class territory, slash in this case, or if you use the cheat code EMU to just apply the crew territory, then Buggy Special actually gives an incredible buff. You get an 8 times attack to INT type slashers. So this also further pushes you towards, like, if you use Buggy as captain, you want to build an INT type team that are slashers. And the good thing with Buggy that we'll look at later is that with units I have now, that's extremely easy to make a really good team using just that combination of INT and slasher. But other INT and slasher characters get still 6 times for 3 turns. Also, it's pretty busted that you can get these buffs for 3 turns. Like, that's probably one of the better parts of all of these units. Like, it's some insane numbers, and it's not just 1 turn either. Like, it's pretty busted. Otherwise, if you don't have the territories, it's 4 times attack for INT slashers, 3 times for everything else, and just for 1 turn. So we have that negative as well, I guess. As for the buff, like attack, like I know that there will be some people who look at these units and see like Shanks 6 times conditional. Sounds pretty good. And then we have Call Affinity. I think it's the Blackbeard. It's like Call Affinity, like whatever, not the best buff. Luffy War Boost, and it's going to be, yeah, that's so good. And then Buggy Attack Boost, like, ooh, Attack Boost is the best. This is so good, but it's like also Attack Boost at a higher value is still not as hype as, say, the most hype of these, I'd say, which is Shanks' 6 times conditional buff, which is like a huge step in higher numbers for that particular buff. Like, it's basically doubling the highest we've seen for that kind of buff. But here, like 8 times, you're like 5 others have done that. Like, if you use this combo, you can get to 6 times pretty easily. Like, it's super high, but we can get pretty high with attack in other ways and try and stack other buffs instead. So, like, it's not like you build a team and like, how am I going to fit an attack boost? Like, that's basically never an issue, especially when you build it for Super Boss. So it's not incredibly high, but it's still a really good number, and it's definitely not bad. I guess that's the point, but not hype, not bad. I think we stop there. He also applies set target, which you can't complain about. Like, if you look at the team, the units he will be used with, like neither of them gives attack boost or set targets, so getting both is really good. Buggy also applies territory INT to the field. Like it's good that he can enable himself, but the way that I read this, like, we have to test it in the end, but I don't think that if you have territory slasher and then use Buggy Special, it doesn't add the territory INT and then give you the 8 times attack boost. At least I'm pretty sure of that, but we have to see. So the way I see it is that something has to give you slasher territory first and then INT territory, then you use Buggy. And if you use Buggy, in that case, applying territory INT doesn't matter. Like, I'd say adding territory driven will be better, even if it just helps Buggy. But like, at the same time, like, if you just make a team for normal content, like, it does help you enable his higher capability and stuff like that without relying on other units. So I'm not going to complain, but at least in the way I see you building Buggy, it won't matter. Also, we have some crit memes. Like, I honestly haven't done enough research to say how good it is. Like, my rule of thumb is that this is a very niche buff. But we should try and remember when we look at the other units, like, do they have crit? Because I know that a few times when I've used these crit memes, like, it is a pretty noticeable damage increase, but like, what does it compare to? Like, it's easy to compare with base attack boost. That is also like not that clear how much it adds. Like, I remember thinking back in the day when we often got like plus 500, plus 1000 base attack boost, And I know I thought about them like plus 1.3, 1.5 times buff kind of territory, also times 1.5. So it's not that big, but it is a stackable buff for some units, and every buff you stack matters in increasing damage, and this is mainly a super boss unit, so it's probably not, it's very low on the list of buffs I'd add to him, but he got it, and yeah, let's try and remember to check if the other units also have the crit. He also reduces Captain's special charge time of 5 turns, as I said in my emu video. It's basically about letting you use emu's special twice. Like, it's not bad, but it really much depends on what the captain is and if they have any ability to do a double special. So at least with the units we have now in terms of a buggy team, I'd say it's irrelevant. Super Tandem buffs mainly Roger Pirates and Crosskill, which is good since the Super Tandem we'll probably use with buggy is from the Roger Pirates. So yeah, we take that. We talked about the EX. Support is just stats, it's pretty boring. And I'm honestly going to say I haven't read the PvP kit. I should have probably done that before I started recording. But yeah, INT slashers, I honestly haven't used them. Maybe they can be okay with buggy. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to waste time here when I haven't even prepared to talk about the PvP kit. So let's jump in game instead. And yeah, we're going to talk about a core of 5 units. We talked about buggy as the first. As second, we're going to talk about a unit I haven't pulled. How do I get out of this? I just want to get the menu. There we go, okay. Let's see. And we're talking, of course, about the Crocodile and Mihawk. So let's just take a look at how they pair up with the buggy. And we're not going to look at their captain because you'll probably not use them as captain. As for the Super Tandem boost, not sure if that will help. We have to see if that unit I'm thinking about for Super Tandem is Egghead. I think they are. They're not for Emperors at least, or Crosskill. So we'll see about that. Superclass maybe will be decent, I guess. As for the special, the main thing they does is possibly add damage reduction. Like, it depends, because the team I'm thinking about has a extra slot, and it could do like an ore boost or a writable ore boost. And if you can overwrite an ore boost, you can get both Mihawk and Crocodile's 3-turn ore boost, and you can get their percent damage reduction attack boost, I should say. And damage reduction attack boost is good, of course, because buggy gives the damage reduction for that, so you can make use of that. Ore boost, none of the other units does that, so it will be useful. Threshold is nice in buggy handles damage reduction, but we have another unit who also handles threshold. But yeah, another cool thing is that if you have territory int or slasher, which other units will be able to provide, you can stack 2 different damage boosting effects, which will come into play, as I'll talk about later. So yeah, we're getting somewhere like buggy, attack boost, set target, the crit memes, Crocodile Mihawk ore boost, maybe ore boost, and the damage reduction attack boost, depending on the 6 units on the team. And you also had the ability to stack 2 different buffs. Let's move on to the other units. And yeah, going to be some of the best INT slashers we've got recently. We're going to have the Roger Pirates INT slasher as the other captain. A cool part of them. Let's just check tags right away. They are Egghead, so they work with Mihawk and Croc. So that's good. Their captain removes threshold completely, or sets it to 0. So same as buggy, like buggy does it for percent damage reduction. Roger Pirates does this for threshold. So that's pretty sweet. Both of them are basically the same cap 10, reducing everything by 2 for INT slashers. So it's nice in that sense. The bad thing is that these units don't have any other utility basically as captain, but also have a super high attack boost if you face psi content. So you're going to be really high with Buggy and this as hybrid captains. Then for the special, you have a big color affinity. You can get a big chain multiplier boost. You get the advantageous class effects, which is, if it's applied, that's going to make a big difference. And yeah, some minor utility as well. Special bind is pretty bad on this unit since captain doesn't resist, EX doesn't remove. Removes beneficial effects, which can be useful. It also makes fighters into slashers, which I didn't think about, but you could enable some good Luffy legends, for example, and make them into slashers, and also fulfill Buggy's condition of 6 slashers, so that's pretty neat. Another thing I didn't mention with Buggy is like the units you need, and if you look here, like one of the worst parts of using this unit is like getting the units for the EX. Like Shanks is always easy, but the second unit has been the hard thing, but like as you see, Shanks, Buggy, we already got it, so EX is very easy to use here. And then we have the Super Tanner, which also has Ace and Shanks. We have like potentially the Luffy we can add, make his fighter into slasher and use them early and save Shanks for the final tap instead. And 3 times Super Tanner boost is not bad at all. Also, I don't think I said it, but they add territory INT. So this is the territory INT, so now we need territory slasher. And we get territory slasher from the Shanks. Territory slasher, he also applies an attack boost to delayed or weakened enemies. Shanks himself can apply weakened and give a base attack boost, so as you see, the buffs are adding up. We don't have any overlapping buffs at all, which is really good. His special also is a big whatever, since it just enables you stacking 2 buffs, but Croc and Mihawk can already do that. So that means that we can get the secondary effect, which is that you can get an attack boost to death down or increase damage. So a second conditional, so Shanks will give 2 conditionals at once. He enables one himself. The death down increased damage taken can be applied by the Zoro. So we have some really good synergy going here, which I really enjoy. And yeah, the final tap also pretty good. You can also use Shanks for the Super Tandem, or you can use him for the final tap, which is, it's not the best, but it's a final tap, so some nice extra damage. Finally here we have the Zoro. Before we talk about the synergy with the others, I just want to point out that in regular content, if you use Buggy, Zoro is really good since Buggy handles damage reduction in Captain, Zoro's crewmate handles threshold, at least 6 turns, that's usually enough. Zoro's special handles death up. So yeah, you have a very neat packet that handles all kinds of death up, damage reduction threshold, which is basically in every single content you'll face. But yeah, back into the actual team. Here we have the increased damage taken. So we get that buff and we enable the conditional from Shanks. We can also get the chain boundary, stacks with the chain multiplier boost from the Roger Pirates. You need 5 or more egghead, which I'm pretty sure all of these are eggheads, so just need to double check the Shanks basically. Yeah, so all 5 units I showed have the egghead tags. We enable Sword there. It doesn't do a lot more else, like we have the Rush. And Mihawk is needed for the Rush. We have Mihawk Crocs, we covered that. But we need one more, and as we've talked about earlier, it's probably best to have a Luffy. I haven't really looked at Luffy since I forgot to check for fighter Luffys. But that's definitely a possibility. So we have Rush, Super Tandem, final tap, we have 2 different Super Tandem boosts to increase the damage. So we're only 5 units in to a team of 6. And what are we missing? We're missing probably some orb manip, unless you get like block orbs or something, then Buggy can handle it. You also have Soros Sailor. And if you have some orb lock shenanigans, you can try and keep the tandem orbs going forward. Other than that, maybe an orb boost, or damage reduction, or an writable orb boost to get the most of Mihawk Croc. Otherwise, you lack one of those. There are some chain buffs you can still get, but like other than that, like it has everything at a high multiplier, and together they can handle quite a bit of utility as well, but not as much as I'd like personally. See, in terms of super boss, I'd build something like that, and it should be good for a bit, but in a year, I doubt it will be that good. But yeah, for the Anni, might be good unless we run the Emu for Emperor team for every single super boss, which is perfectly realistic. But yeah, actually pretty cool that they managed to make this synergy work. It really feels like when they designed Buggy, they looked at like what is the best in-slasher team we could do for super boss, and they blurt the Buggy out there, and yeah, it does work well with them. So yeah, didn't think I'd talk about this Buggy for 26 minutes, but I did. So we'll see which one I talk about tomorrow. Probably the next one they advertise in the news. But yeah, I'll end the video there. So thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.